Hello, good afternoon, and welcome sa ating klase for today. So, we will be discussing our first topic in semifinal. So, this will be our subject, Advanced Engineering Mathematics, and the topic is Laplace Transform, wherein we will determine the definition and yung properties ni Laplace Transform. Okay? So, for this session, this is our outline. So, we will have first the definition ng Laplace Transform natin, and then we have yung properties of Laplace Transform natin. Okay? So, as a learning outcome, you just need to define yung equation na ginagamit for Laplace transform. And before we can uh, assume or accept the properties na ginagamit for Laplace transform, we have to demonstrate how this property is derived or calculated using integration formulas. Okay? So, let's start. So, ano daw ba si Laplace transform? So, as an introduction, Laplace transform is an integral transformation that converts a function of a real variable, usually in time domain, yung variable natin, to a function of a complex variable or complex frequency domain, no? So, this may be different to sa ibang definition, pero basically, si Laplace transform is converting yung mga integral or differential equation natin into a much more simpler function na na pwede siya maging algebraic equation na lang. Okay? So using yung formula ni Laplace, we can be able to simplify yung mga differential equation natin na may experience in the future. Okay? So it was invented by Pierre Simon Laplace and has been used in many applications in science and engineering because it is a tool for solving differential equations. So as I've said, we are trying to simplify yung differential equation natin into a much more simpler equation wherein algebraic lang yung kanyang form. So pag algebraic siya, medyo simpler yung approach in the solution that we can also observe when once you study yung application nung nung function na yon dun sa particular major ninyo, especially sa control feedback, sa waves, no, and also sa higher electrical engineering subjects, no. And then we have here the formal definition for the Laplace transform. So let f of t be any function with with a time domain as a variable, or t yung ating variable. So the Laplace transform of ft denoted by LFT, okay, is defined by LFT is equal to the integral of e raised to negative st times f of t times dt as 0, or as the equation approaches 0 to infinity. Okay? So, ito yung pinaka-main form na gagamitin natin for Laplace transform. So, when we see a function, halimbawa itong L na to, so usually, ang talagang, ang kanyang symbol is katulad ng nakalagay kanina na L na ganyan, and then we have a particular function inside it. So, yung function na yun is ft. So, ang gagawin mo lang is isa-substitute mo siya dito sa equation natin. So, you will always start with this particular function multiplied by the function given inside dun sa L natin, and then we will integrate all of those functions with respect to time. Okay, so the result of the integral of a Laplace is always a function of s. So as we have already defined, we are converting yung time domain natin into another variable na s na kino-consider natin as algebraic function. So, from t, gagawin natin siyang s. So, from dito, if such function is denoted by f of s, then, ibig sabihin, kapag pinakuha sa atin yung Laplace ng given function in terms of t, our answer should be a function in terms of s. Okay? So, to better understand this, we need to demonstrate it dun sa ating mga properties. Okay? And I think I have prepared 10 set of actually, hindi siya lahat yung properties, pero as we move along with this topic, we will be able to understand how the properties are applied on each function inside the Laplace transformation. Okay? So let's start with the first basic one. So kapag halimbawa daw given tayo ng Laplace of the function c times f of t. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, our function t is multiplied by a constant c. Okay? So, we need to transform that dun sa ating equation. So, as um, we found out dun sa previous slide, ang gagawin daw natin, whatever is inside nitong bracket na to, no? Ilalagay natin siya dun sa ating function na equivalent ng Laplace, which is ito, no? F of t dt. Okay? So dito yung f of t na yun, ito yun, no? Itong portion na to. Okay? So, kung sinubstitute natin, that will be e negative st, and then whatever is inside, so we have c, then ft, then dt. Okay? So, makikita natin kapag nagpo-perform di pa tayo ng integral, um, yung constant number natin inside the integral can be factored out outside, no? So, pag pinactor out natin yon, this can be c, 0, infinity negative st, then ft dt, which brings us back dun sa original natin na function na L ft, no? Na domain. So, once we simplify this one, c times L f of t. Okay? So, meaning as first property ni Laplace transform, kung may constant na pwede i-factor out dun sa ating function inside nung ating Laplace transform equation, we can factor it out daw dun sa labas niya. Okay? So, halimbawa, for example, we have a pinahanap sa atin is Laplace transform of 3f of t. Yan. So, we can say na this is equals to 3 in L f of t. Yan. Okay? So, we can factor out any number na constant dun sa ating function. So, later, define natin kapag nag-iba na yung function natin. No? So, halimbawa, we have 7 over 8 of f of t. So, what will be our simplification? We have 7 of 8 times L or yung Laplace transform ni f of t. Okay? So, as first property, we can factor out yung constant natin. Okay? So, this is for the first one. Then we have the second one. So, if yung function naman daw natin sa loob ng Laplace equation natin is a series of number of terms. Okay? Number of terms na meron siyang particular constant with each term. Okay? So, what we can do is apply also yung equation natin. So, when we apply our equation, this will be for the first one. Okay? So, we have yung 0 infinity e raised to negative st. Okay? And then, yung function na nasa loob natin, so c1 f1 t plus c2 f2 t. And then we have dt. Okay? And then, kung matanda natin sa integral, pwede natin siyang paghiwalayin na as sa two terms, no? So we have 0, infinity, negative st. Yung first term natin is c1 f1 t dt plus 0 is to infinity na negative st c2 f2 and then t dt. Okay? Then applying property 1, we have c1. Pwede natin ilabas kasi constant siya. So, negative st f1t dt. And then sa second term, we can factor out c2, 0 infinity, negative st f2 t dt. Okay? So, kapag simplify natin to, we can assume na yung ano natin, itong naka-integral natin is equals dun sa L, dun sa original equation natin. Okay? Then ito will be C2 L then F2T. Okay? So what does it mean? So kung halimbawa yung nasa loob natin is a series of term ng function or a function with two or more terms na with respect to t, pwede natin siyang paghiwalayin individually And then pwede natin i-factor out yung constant niya dun sa labas. Okay? So meaning, dito, this can be L, then C1, F1, T, okay? Then plus L, C2, F2, T. Okay? Then applying property 1, we have C1, L, F1T, plus C2, L, F2T, which is the same as what we did in this equation or yung answer niya. Okay? So, ganun yung property number 2 natin. Okay? So, ayan. So, next sa property natin, we will deal with a number na, no? So, as dito, try natin. So, L, Laplace transform ng 1. Okay? So, si Laplace transform ng 1 is, okay? So, ayan. So, kailangan natin i-apply equation natin. Okay? So, we have 0, infinity, e negative st, then we have 1, dt. Okay? Then, pag sinimplify natin to, this will be 0, infinity, negative st, dt. So, kaya makikita nyo dito, meron ako as a reminder kung paano ang integration ng exponential function. So, before we can integrate is ex plus c, we need to satisfy na yung exponent natin is corresponding dun sa derivative natin dito. Okay? So, when we let u, ito, try natin u is equals to negative st, ang derivative niya is equals to negative s dt. Okay? Kapag kinuha natin si dt, that will be equals to du over negative s. Okay? So we can transform this equation to integral of 0 to infinity, then e raised to u, kasi yung assumption natin for negative st. And ang dt natin is taken as du over negative s. So what we can do is factor out yung ating uh, coefficient na to. Okay? So 1 over negative s, infinity, 0 infinity, eu du. So once na ito ay confirming na dito, we can assume na equal siya sa ex plus c, or since this is a definite integral or an integral na meron tayong limits, hindi natin kailangan ng maglagay ng plus c. Okay? So this is equals to 1 for negative s, then this will be eu tapos 0 to infinity. Okay? So substitute lang natin pabalik yung u natin. So that is e negative st, 0 infinity, and then ano lang natin yung definite integral natin. So again, as a reminder, di ba, kung halimbawa after natin i-integrate, so meron tayong x, tapos meron tayong uh, a to b dito, ang magiging answer niyan is yung yung upper limit natin, sa substitute natin, minus yung lower limit natin dun sa value ni x. So same din dito. So we can make this as negative 1 over s times e negative s times infinity plus e negative s times 0. Okay? So, pag sinimplify natin, if you check your calculator, any value na malaki, no? Kasi ito pag multiply natin, this will be a infinite na, no? And any infinite number that we will raise sa e will merge or will result to 0, no? So, pag tinry nyo sa calculator, that will be 0. And then, negative s times 0, this is equals to 0. And any number, any variable raised to 0 ay equals sa 1. So, this will be 1. Okay? Pero this should be negative, no? So, okay, negative to. Okay. And so, pag sinimplify natin, this will be, our answer is 1 over s. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kapag meron daw tayong L, o yung Laplace transform of 1, equals daw sa 1 over s. So, ito yung isa pa nating property sa kanya. Okay? All right, so continuing with our properties. So let's say given tayo ng any constant bukod sa 1. Okay? So what will be our transformation of the given equation? Okay? So let's try. So we have 0 to infinity e na negative st, then times yung ating constant dt. Okay? So we will have 0 to infinity. Then yung constant na yun, pwede natin ilabas or factor out. Then we will have e negative st dt. Okay? So allowing or letting u is equals to negative st, our du will be equals to negative s dt. Or dt natin is equals to negative du over s. Okay? Then substituting that value, we will have integral of 0 to infinity e u, and then ang dt natin will be negative du over s. Okay? So c, then we will have negative 1 over s, 0 to infinity eu du. Okay? So continuing, pwede na natin pagsamahin yung dalawang um, coefficient. So we have negative c over s multiplied by eu, yung integral niya, from 0 to infinity. Substitute natin cu. So we have e raised to negative st, 0 to infinity, negative c over s. So we have e negative s times infinity minus e negative s times to 0. Then simplify. We have negative c over s. Okay. So yung first one again is an infinite. So this will be 0 minus 1. So we have c over s. Okay. And what can you see? This can be factored out as c times 1 over s. And from our previous property, ang 1 over s ay equal sa L times yung ating Laplace ng number 1. So, ibig sabihin, this is also equals to C times L Laplace ni 1. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, si L, C is equal sa C, L Laplace ni 1, or whatever yung value ni C, that will be C times 1 over S or C over S. Okay? So, this is our fourth property. So, any number or any constant, kapag kinuha natin Laplace niya, that will be C times yung Laplace of 1, which is 1 over S, or we have C over S na value. Okay? So, let's try that to an example. So, okay? So, let's say, halimbawa, Laplace of 4, no? What will be the value of that? So, dapat C over S. So, lagay mo lang 4 over S. Okay? So, halimbawa, Laplace transform of 4/3. Okay? So, that will be 4 over 3s. Okay? Or, simplify natin to. 4 over 3 over s. That will be 4 over 3 times 1 over s, or 4 over 3s. Okay? So, ayan. So, yan yung ating fourth property, which involve a constant in our f of t. Okay? Next, what if we have yung variable t lang muna, no? As our function inside the Laplace equation. So, to prove that, again, to use yung ating equation. So, we have 0 to infinity e negative st times t dt. Okay? Then, when we look at this function, according to our integral solution, we cannot easily solve this using basic formula, okay? Or basic integration formula. So what we need to do is to apply yung tinatawag nating integration by parts, okay? So going back sa integration by parts, ang formula niya is integral of u dv. So you will assume what will be your u, what will be your dv is equals daw siya sa uv minus integral of v du. So what will you assume as your u, no? So to select for u, okay, you should follow yung itong anong to, acronym na to, no? As guide kung what order yung hahanapin natin. So, ang pinakaunang pwede maging u is a logarithmic, no? O kaya inverse, no? Yan yung mga pwedeng maging u. Pag wala niyan, kasunod mo na is yung algebraic na function. Okay? Pag wala pa din algebraic, kasunod mo na is trigonometric. Okay? Ang pinaka-last mo is si exponential. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, given our current equation, we have EST and T. So, si EST is a exponential. Okay? So, ito ay exponential. And si T natin ay algebraic. So, using our guide here, ang lalet nating U is yung mauuna sa kanya is LIA. So, algebraic yung mas nauna kaysa sa exponential, no? So, si algebraic yung kukunin natin as T. Okay? And ang dv natin is yung matitira. So, dv natin is negative, E negative ST dt. Okay? So, perform natin to. U is equals to T. So, this is du is equals to dt. And then ito, i-integrate natin. This will be V. And then para ma-satisfy to, kailangan itong dt natin is merong negative ST, no? So, kailangan mag-introduce tayo ng number equal to 1 para maipasok natin yung negative ST doon. Okay? So, this will be 1 over negative negative ST, then negative SDT. So, yung galing dito, naipasok natin doon. Kaya ito yun, no? Ngayon, masasatisfy na niya yung EU DU. Kaya ngayon, ang derivative ng V natin ngayon will be negative 1 over S E raised to negative ST. Okay? So, yan yung value natin ng V. So, apply natin doon sa integration by parts natin. So, using this equation na UV minus V du. So, ang U natin, so UV minus integral of V du. So, ang U natin is T times V. So, negative 1 over S, E negative ST. Pero since ito is nag-perform tayo ng integration, be mindful na meron tayong limit na 0 to infinity. Okay? Minus 0 to infinity, yung value ng V natin is negative 1 over S, E negative ST. And then ang ating du is dt. Okay? And then, let's try to simplify. So, dito, apply mo na to dito, yung ano natin. So, we have infinity times negative 1 over S, E negative S times infinity, okay, minus 0, negative 1 over S, E negative S, 0. Okay, so ito yung first term natin. Minus, so dito, makita natin, may itong minus, meron tayong minus. So ito uh, is a coefficient or a constant. We can factor it out dito sa labas natin. So this will be positive. 1 over S, 0, 8, E negative ST dt. Okay? So, simplify natin. So, dito makikita natin, times ulit siya ng infinity. So, E raised to an infinite number will be equal to 0. Okay? Itong second one, meron tayong multiplier na 0. So, this will be also equal to 0. So, matitira doon sa equation natin is equal siya sa 1 over S, 0, infinity, negative ST, dt. Okay? And ano yung mapapansin natin dito? Itong factor na to is the same as 1 over S, 0, infinite, E negative ST. 1 dt, no? And alam natin from our previous property na si 1 dt, okay? Pag yun daw, 1 dt na yun, equals daw siya dito sa 1 over s natin. Okay? So, apply natin yun dito. So, this will be 1 over s times 1 over s. So, ang answer natin for L to T, this will be 1 over s squared. So, this will be 1 over s squared. Okay? So, for now, intindihin muna natin to or i-accept natin muna siya as property. Na kapag si nasa loob ng function ni L is T lang, that will be 1 over S squared. Okay? Or kung di kayo nag-accept o di kayo nag-agree dito sa solution na to, you can always perform yung integration nito. Ang kailangan lang natin is i-multiply siya ulit by a negative uh, by a value na negative 1 over st. Okay, so let me go back here. Okay, so ayan, so let's try another one. Kapag naman yung t natin is raised by a different exponent, no? So, so dito, try muna natin to dito, no? Paano pag hindi natin alam yung L raised to 1, no? So, 1 over S, and then we need to satisfy yung nasa loob, okay? So, we need to multiply negative S over S, E negative ST dt, okay? So, we have 1 over S, and then 1 over negative S, E negative ST dt, um, should be negative S dt. So, satisfied na yung nasa loob ng integral. So, we will have so 0 to infinity to, di ba? So, itong dalawa, pwede na natin pag-multiply. So, this will be negative 1 over S squared times yung ating E negative ST raised to 0 to infinity. So, negative 1 over S squared multiplied by E negative S times infinity minus E negative S times 0. Okay? So, this will be again equal to 0. And then ito, any number raised to 1 will be equals to 1. Okay? So, negative 1 over S squared times negative value, that will be positive. So, yung magiging answer din natin is equal to 1 over S squared, which is the same na nito. Okay? So, another solution lang yun sa kanya. Okay? Now, we proceed with the sixth one. Ang case naman natin is naka-square naman yung t natin. Okay? So, applying the same rules that we have been using. So, 0, infinite, e negative st, and then we have t squared dt. So, dito, pwede tayong mag integration by parts ulit. So, let u is equals to t squared and si dv will be equals to negative st dt. Okay? So, this is du is equals to 2 dt and v is equals to negative 1 over s e negative st. Okay? So, applying the formula, we have u, which is t squared, times v, negative st, minus negative 1 over s, e negative st. And then, v du. So, ang du natin is 2 over dt. Okay? Then, let us not forget yung 0 to infinity. So, pwede natin siyang i-substitute na dito. So, we have t squared. So, infinity squared multiplied by 1 minus over s, e negative s times infinity minus 0 times negative 1 over s, e negative s times 0. Okay? So, ito yung first term natin. Then ito, minus and minus. So, pwede siya maging positive. Plus, labas na natin, 1 over s. And then may 2 pa pala dito, no? We have a 2 there. So, we need to indicate yun dito sa ating uh, number. So, we have 2s. Then, 0 to infinity, e negative st dt. Okay? Then, dito, tingnan natin to. So, this is naka-raise sa infinity na naka-e. So, this will be 0. No? So, 0 times a number, that will be 0 na to. Okay? Then, yung second term, multiply siya by 0. So, 0 na din to. So, we have now 2 over s, 2 over s, and then we have 0, infinity, e negative st dt. Okay? And again, this is also equals to 2 over s, 0 infinity, e negative st times 1 dt, which is equal dun sa ating L of 1. Okay? Alam natin ang value. So, 2 over s, yan siya ay 1 over s. So, we have 2 over s squared. Okay? Ano yung papansin natin? Itong nangyari sa kanya is from our first one, okay? Ito, ayan, 1 over s squared. Dito yun, no? Okay? So, yung nangyari parang nag-add yung kanyang ah, depende sa number ng value dito. Okay? You can assume na this is also equals to 2 times 1 over s squared, no? Okay? Pero um, let's conclude na lang muna dito na t squared is equals to 2 over s squared. Okay? So, para later, pakita natin paano pag halimbawa mas higher yung number sa kanya. Okay? Kasi may relationship yung dalawa. Okay? So, naging twice yung kanyang numerator bukod dun sa isa, no? And then yung ating denominator is naging s squared. Okay? So, 1 over s. Okay, let me check. This is 1 over s, 1 over s squared. So, that is equals to 1 over s. Okay. So, I have a mistake here sa ating derivative, no? Para dito sa ating this one, no? So, this should not be 2 dt lang. It should be 2t dt. Okay? So, this should be 2t dt. And then ito dapat siya ay 2t dt. Okay? So, may another t doon. So, we should perform another integration by part on that area. Okay? Right? So, Um, okay, let me delete this lang. Okay. So kung may D doon dito, this is also equals dun sa previous natin property, which is E negative ST tapos T D T. So let us check. So sa previous property natin, that is ito, no? So kung hindi natin alam yung value nito, we will perform muna ito ulit to arrive with 1 over S squared. Okay? Pero since alam na natin yon, this is equivalent na sa value ng L of t, which is equals to 1 over S squared. So we have here also 2S multiplied by 1 over S squared, or we will have 2 over S cubed. Okay? So this is our next property, which is L of t raised to 2 equals to yan sa 2 over S cubed. Okay? So, yeah. Okay? Okay, so let us try to solve naman kung yung t natin is raised by any number bukod sa 2, no, and 1. Let's check kung meron tayong pattern na makukuha sa kanya. So let's have our answer, our function now na L t raised to n. Okay, so again, this will be 0 to infinity, e negative st, and then tn dt. Okay, so perform natin si integration by parts. Okay? So u natin is equals to Tn dt. So u is equals to Tn kasi algebraic siya. Then ang dv natin is equals to negative s dt. Okay? So yung u natin, this is du. Then this will be n. Then t times n minus 1 dt. Okay? So perform natin to. This will be v is equals to negative 1 over s e negative st. So, using yung formula ni integration by parts, so uv, so tn times v, negative 1 over s e negative st, uh, 0 to infinity, okay, minus integral of v du, so negative 1 over s st, and du natin is n tn minus 1 dt. Okay? So, itong first one natin, so substitute natin yung value ng 0 infinity sa lahat ng may t. So, this will be infinity raised to n times negative 1 over s e negative s infinity, yung first one natin, minus 0 negative 1 over s e negative s times 0. Okay? So, ito yung ating first term doon. Then ito, pwede natin factor out si n, si negative 1 over s, tsaka ito. So, negative times negative 1 over s is positive 1 over s times n. We will have positive n over s. And then, integral of e negative st. And then we have t n minus 1 dt. Okay? So, yung atin dito, check natin. So, this is raised by an infinite number, yung e natin. So, this will be 0. Okay? Then ito is multiplied by 0. So this will be 0 na din. Okay? So this will be n over s, integral of 0 to infinity e negative st t times n minus 1 dt. Okay? So from here, makikita natin na may pwede tayong makuha sa kanyang property, no? Na dito, kapag ito, pwede natin itong i-change back dun sa ating Laplace form. We can change back sa n over s and then L transformation ng t n minus 1. Okay, do you agree? So, kasi dahil ito yung nasa loob niya, no? Okay, so once na meron tayo nito, we can say na kapag nag-minus 1 pa ulit tayo, dun sa ating n. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kukunin natin yung mas mababa sa n minus 1, ibig sabihin. So, pag nag-minus 1 tayo, we can say na n minus 1 over s, magiging value nito, if n is equal n minus 1, okay? So, this will be t n minus 2 na, okay? So, decreasing siya, ibig sabihin. Okay? So, kung halimbawa yung uh, kasunod natin, we try na if gagamitin natin is n minus 2. So, yung magiging ano nyo is n minus 2 over s, L, tapos magiging siyang L times T, sorry, T raised to n minus 3. Okay? And etc. Kung ano man yung maging number natin o minus natin. Na yun is gagawin natin hanggang yung power natin goes down in the numerator or maging siyang eventually equal to 1. Okay? So kung halimbawa 5 yung numerator nitong t natin, no? Magkakameron tayo ng function na t raised to 4, t raised to 3, t raised to 2, t raised to 1 hanggang maging t raised to 0 or equals na siya sa 1. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, we can have halimbawa na t raised to n. So, halimbawa, i-assume natin, di ba, nakuha natin, n over s is L t n minus 1. Okay? Pwede natin gawin si n minus s, multiply natin yung kasunod niya. So, n minus 1 over s, okay, times yung kanyang L, tn minus 2. Okay? And then itong nasa loob natin na function na to, ito, pwede din natin gawing n minus 3, n minus 2 muna, no? Over s times L t raised to n minus 3 hanggang mag-equal siya sa 1. Okay? So, pwedeng n minus n over s times n minus 1 over s times n minus 2 over s and then magiging times L t n minus 3. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, nagmo-multiply tayo na nagdi-decrease. Tingnan natin yung numerator. Decreasing yung number, nagmo-multiply tayo. And anong property ng mathematics yon? Kapag nagmo-multiply tayo ng ng preceding number or decreasing number with each other. We call that factorial, no? Pag inano natin, pag nagmasta natin, this is factorial. Okay? So, mangyayari eventually, pag tinuloy natin, this will be 1 over s o magiging 1 na lang yung n natin, L to t, no? So, pwede natin sabihin ngayon na yung, di ba, yung L to t natin, nakuha natin kanina na equal siya sa 1 over s. Okay? So, itong 1 over s natin na to, itong nasa ilalim, is magiging siyang n. Ibig sabihin kung ilang beses tayo nag-multiply, no? Dito. So, di ba to? S times S times S. So, 3 cube na siya. So, kapag tinuloy natin hanggang maging 1 na lang siya, magiging n na lang siya. Ibig sabihin kung ilang beses tayo nag-minus. Okay? So, this will be equals to yung n over s natin na nasa labas multiplied yung 1 over s natin times yung n factorial natin over times yung 1 over s natin na ito. Okay? So, ibig sabihin pag simplify natin, okay, let me move lang dito. Okay? So, this will be equal to n factorial all over Sn plus 1. Okay? So, ito daw yung equivalent ng kapag yung t natin is raised by a certain exponent. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ito yung kanyang main formula gagamitin natin as property niya. Okay? So, ngayon, pag tinry natin ngayon ibalik dun sa kabila, no? Kumbawa dito sa equation natin na to, nakuha natin na si L t raised to n ay equal sa n factorial all over s n plus 1, no? So kung ang n natin is equals to 2, katulad dito sa problem na to, yung exponent natin na equals to 2, equals daw yan sa 2 factorial all over s 2 plus 1. So 2 factorial is 2 times 1, s3. So simplify, so 2s cubed, which is also equal dito sa atin. Okay? So this property, ibig sabihin, is useful whenever we have a function t raised to a certain number, a certain power. Okay? So kung halimbawa naman, next is na tayong L, t raised to 5. So applying that, so 5 factorial all over s 5 plus 1. So that will be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 all over s raised to 6. Or 5 times 4 is 20 times 3 is 60 times 2 is 120. So times 1, so 120 over s raised to 6. So without even calculating it using integration or integral formula, we can simplify the given problem using yung ating property na na-derive from the seventh property. Okay? So ito yung isa sa mahalagang property natin for Laplace. Alright? Okay, so next, we try another one. So let's say naman kung halimbawa exponential yung nasa loob ng Laplace function natin. Okay? So we have integral of 0 infinity e negative st times e at dt. Okay? So to simplify this, pwede natin pagsamahin yung dalawang magkaparehas ng base. So using exponential law of exponent, sorry, times a plus at dt. Okay? Then pwede natin factor out yung t sa taas, no? So try natin factor out yung negative t. So negative t is equals to s minus a. Okay? dt. Okay? Then we simplify using simple ano na lang to, integration. So we can have u is equals to negative t sa, or balik rin natin, negative s minus at. So ang du natin dyan is negative s minus a dt. So pag kukunin natin si dt, we should have du over negative s minus a. Okay? So substitute natin dito. So 0 to infinity e raised to u. Plus dt natin is du over negative s minus a. So we have 1 over negative s minus a, 0 to infinity eu du. So 1 over, negative 1 over s minus a. Eu du na siya, so this will be eu. Pero meron tayong limit na e to infinity. So multiply natin or substitute natin yung value ni u. So we have times e, negative s minus at, 0 to infinity. Substituting that to this value, negative 1 over s minus a times e negative s minus a times infinity minus e negative s minus a times 0. Okay? From our previous discussion, this will be 0. This will be equal to 1. So we will have a value of negative times negative 1 over s over a. So if we see a Laplace of e raised to a t, we should have an equation of 1 over s minus a. So this is our eighth property for Laplace equation. Okay? So, pero may limit to, no? So, our s should be greater than a. Equals sa a. Hindi siya pwede maging less than. Okay? If that will be less than, what will happen is in our integral, magda-diverge yung integral natin. So, ibig sabihin, wala kang makukuhang area pag nag-i-integral ka, nag-i-integrate ka. Kaya pag ganun yung case, sinasabi natin the limit does not exist or the limit diverges or the integration diverges. Kaya kailangan laging greater than A yung ating value ng S if ever may value tayo ng S. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kapag ganyan yung equation natin, may given tayong L equals to E raised to 5t. So, this is kung ano natin yung form natin na E80. So, ibig sabihin, A natin is equals to 5. Okay? So, alam natin ito will be equal sa L E80 na ang solution is 1 over S minus A. So, 1 over S minus 5. So, this is our answer for that question. Okay? So, ayan. So, try natin pag ipapakita natin ng full equation natin. So, we have 0 to infinity E 5 E negative ST E 5t dt. So, we have 0 infinity E negative ST plus 5t dt. Factor out natin yung negative t. Then this will be S minus 5 dt. So this will be negative 1 over S minus 5 equal of 0 E natin ng U. No? So pag sinabi nating U is equals to negative S minus 5 times T, that will be du is equals to negative S minus 5 dt, or dt natin is equals to du over negative S minus 5. Okay? Substitute natin dito. So we will have 0 to infinity e raised to u, and ang dt natin is du over negative S minus 5. Okay? So this will be 1 over negative S minus 5, 0 to infinity eu du. Okay? So negative 1 over S minus 5 times e raised to u, 0 to infinity. So negative 1 over S minus 5, substitute natin si value ni u, which is negative S minus 5t. Okay? So 0 to infinity. So ibig sabihin, negative 1 over S minus 5 times e negative S minus 5 times infinity minus e negative S minus 5 times 0. Okay? So this will be equal to 0. This will be equal to 1. So negative times negative, that will be positive. So this equals as a 1 over S minus 5. Okay? So ito yung answer natin for e raised to 5. Okay? So same answer that we get using our formula for e raised to 80. Alright? Next, we move sa trigonometric function. Let us try si sine of 80. So what if naman daw yung value ng ating function inside the Laplace equation is sine of 80? Okay. So let's solve. We have integral of 0 infinity e negative 80, then sine of 80 times dt. Okay. So integration by parts tayo. So again, yung ating ano is liat, no? LIATE. So una si trigonometric bukod kay bago mag-exponential. So ang u natin is si trigonometric na sine 80. Okay? And ang dv natin is e negative 80 So it should be S, no? Okay, S T dt. Okay, so derivative natin to. So this is du. And then derivative niya is cosine AT times A dt. Okay, or du is equals to A cosine AT dt. Okay, ito integral natin. So this is V is equals to negative 1 over S E negative ST. Okay, so integration by parts of formula, we have sine of AT, okay, multiplied by 1 over S negative ST. So this is 0 to infinity minus negative 1 over S E negative ST as du times A cosine of AT dt. Okay, so let's simplify. So this is 0 to infinity. So this will be sine of A times infinity multiplied by 1 over S E negative S times infinity. So minus sine of A times 0 times 1 over S E negative S times 0. Okay? Ito yung ating first one. Tapos dito, multiply tayo ng negative 1 over S, A, tsaka itong negative natin. So we have positive A over S, integral of 0 to infinity, E negative ST cosine of AT dt. Okay? So, dito, tingnan natin. So, this will be equals to 0. 0 multiplied by a sine value, that will be 0. Okay? Then, we have there sine 0. Okay? So, what is sine 0? Sine 0 ay equals to 0. So, this should be equal to 0 na din. Okay? So, our remaining equation is a over s 0 to infinity e negative st cosine of at dt. Okay? So, since this is a function na hindi pa din siya pwede integrate directly, we perform again another um, integration by parts. So, let's use equals to cosine of at. Then we have dv is equals to e negative st dt. Okay? We have du. Then derivative of cosine is negative sine at times a dt, or equals sa negative a sine at dt. Okay? So dito, pag in-integrate natin, this will be v is equals to negative 1 over s, negative e is to negative st. Okay? So when we substitute that, or sa formula ni integration by parts, that will be u times v. So cosine of 80 times b, which is negative 1 over s, e negative st, minus v du is negative 1 over s, e negative st, and then du, so multiplied by negative a, so negative a sine 80 dt. Okay, so let us simplify this one. So this is 0 to infinity. So a over s, we have cosine of a times infinity times negative 1 over s e negative s to infinity minus cosine of a times 0. Then we have negative 1 over s e raised to negative s times 0. Okay? And then dito sa kasunod, we have negative times negative 1 over s, 1 over s times negative a. So that will be positive, negative. So negative a over s. Okay? Integral of 0 to infinity e negative st sine of at dt. Okay? There. Okay, so let us simplify. So dito, um, this is e raised to infinity. This will be equal to 0. Okay? So any number multiplied by 0 is 0. Dito, this will be equals to 1. So 1 over s and cosine of 0 is what? 1 equals to 1. So matitira dito is a over s multiplied by, this is negative, no? Negative times negative. As magiging 1 na to. This is equal to 1. So that should be 1 over s na lang. Okay? Minus a over s integral of e negative st sine at dt. Okay? So makikita natin cyclic na yung solution natin. Okay? Sabihin na ulit na siya. Na ito, itong part na to, equal siya dito sa first part natin. Okay? So what we can do is to equate itong function na nakuha natin dito at the end, dito sa function natin dito. Okay? So let's try. So equal to a over s multiplied by, distribute na natin to, no? So this will be a times s squared minus a squared over s squared ng integral of 0 to infinity e negative st sine at dt. Okay? So ito, makikita natin, pwede natin siyang i-transpose dito para mag-combine yung dalawang magkaparehas. Okay? So this will be, okay, so that is, pag pinagsama, that is 1 plus a squared over s squared. Okay? E negative st, so 0 to infinity, sine at dt is equals to a over s squared. Okay? Kailangan ma-isolate natin to para makuha natin yung equation. So, kailangan multiply natin siya nito dito. Okay? Pero simplify muna natin yung form na yun, no? So, we have s squared. So, s squared plus a squared. Then, integral of 0 to infinity e negative st sine of at dt is equals to a over s squared. So, pwede natin siyang i-multiply both side by s squared all over s squared plus a squared. Okay? So, pag pinag-multiply natin siya nun, malilipat siya. We have 0 to negative infinity, negative st, sine of 80 dt. This will be, this is a, no? A. So, magka-cancel out tong dalawa. We have a over s squared plus a squared. So that will be our value for sine. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, when we have a function na sine of 80, ang answer daw natin is a over s squared plus a squared. So this will be our final answer sa kanya. Okay? So, ayan. So if ever we have another function, okay, so let us take this one as our another property, no? So pag tinake natin yan sa another property and then let's say we have an example. So ito yung property na nakuha natin. And let's say we have a value na L. What is the Laplace transform of sine 5t halimbawa, no? So ang a natin dito is equals to 5. So magiging solution lang natin is 5 all over s squared plus 5 squared or 5 all over s squared plus 25. Okay? So Ito yung magiging answer natin for this example. Okay? So without even going dun sa ating very rigorous na calculation using integration by parts, we can already simplify our answer into an algebraic form using the property that we have derived for sine. Okay? So far, this is our 10th property for Laplace transform. So, as practice for you, I would like you to try out kung paano kunin naman yung Laplace transform of cosine of alpha of 80, no? So, here your answer should be equal to s all over s squared plus a squared. Okay? So, you need to do as a practice to be able to conclude that you have understand yung concept that we have discussed is to have an answer like this. Okay? So, you can follow what we have done dito sa sine na function and just follow through yung process. But definitely follow kung ano yung integral ng cosine, no? You have to um, reiterate yourself with the derivative of trigonometric function and also the integration of trigonometric function. Okay, so use this number 10 as guide to prove yung number 11 natin, which is the plus transform of cosine of a number. Okay, which is this one. All right, so I hope you understand our lesson. So this ends our first lecture for the topic, and I hope you can answer the previous slide with practice. Okay. So if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask on our GC. Okay. So see you guys again in next meeting.